Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We're in Chapter 6, Systems of Equations, page 5, the independent practice. So, if you have not already done these problems, I'd like you to stop the video and try them. They're not that bad. Okay, I hope you did that. I hope you stopped the video and tried the problems. I think the first thing we need to do is highlight the y-axis. Why? Because it makes it easier when we are graphing the points to know which one we start on. You always start with the y-intercept. So let's start by highlighting some y's. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to highlight the y's intercept in each equation. So you always begin at the back at the y-intercept. So that's a y-intercept, that's a y-intercept, this is a y-intercept. Why is this the wrong color? And down here, why didn't I do that one? That's because it's in the wrong order. We have to fix it first. We'll get back to that. And down here, the y-intercept. Now don't forget, you have to take that negative sign with the y-intercept, and that negative, and that plus sign with the y-intercept. So now I'm back at the top with my very poorly highlighted y-intercepts, and I'm going to look at these two problems. And first you need to know what's the slope. The slope is the number that's next to the x. It's not the x, that's not part of the slope. The slope here is -2. So I'm going to start with that information. Slope m equals -2. Now it's m because the equations are y equals mx plus b. If they're in that order, it's a lot easier to do the problem. So the slope is the coefficient of x. Keep the sign that's in front of the number. And I'm going to put it over 1. Why, Bono? Why is it over 1? So that I know I'm going to rise 2 and run left 1. Why left? Because it's negative. Negatives go to the left. Now, I need the slope, but I also know where do I begin? Well, you begin at the end with the y-intercept. Y-intercept. And in this case, the y-intercept is b equals 2. So I'm going to begin at 2, and then I'm going to rise 2 and go left 1. So let's just do that first equation. Begin at 2, and then I'm going to rise 2, but go left 1. Rise 2, and go left 1. Now, I'm halfway across the grid, or the, what do you call this? The background. Don't call the background the graph. The line is the graph. You can call the background the grid, which is what I usually call it, or you could call it, oh well, it went out of my brain. It'll come back. So now I'm going to connect those 3 points, and I'm going to draw my line. Hold the ruler down. See I'm going to shrink this down a little. See how far apart my fingers are? And I'm pushing pretty hard. I'm also going to push my pen into the ruler, not into my finger, and that way I get a nice straight line. I'll put an arrow here and an arrow here. Look, I have this point and this point and this point. Oh, and I have this point and this point and this point. Ooh, and this one's a little off, but I'm going to put a big point there. So that way I can check. Rise 2, left 1. Rise 2, left 1. Ah, look, it's working nicely. Now, let's take a look at the other equation, this one. Now I'm going to graph this one in red. Why? So it's a little different. So I know here my m is 3 over 1. How do I know that? Because m goes next to x. It's the coefficient of x. So I'm going to rise 3 and run 1. And I begin at the back at the 2. My b is 2. That's nice and convenient. It's right here. B is 2. Then I rise 3, boop, and run 1. Do I need more points than 2? Well, 2 points is enough to graph if you're careful. So I'm going to have to go through those 2 points, and I'm going to be very careful that I'm going right through the corners of the grid in the background. And look, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to check it. Here's my point. Rise 3, run 1. Rise 3. Oh my, I'm off. I made the wrong points. Bad, Bono. I should have known that they would not have been that far off, right? Very, very bad. I'm just going to cover that up with a little whiteout, and no one will ever know. It's a terrible thing I did. Here we go. Here's my point. It's here. Then rise 1, 2, 3, run 1. That looks much nicer. Rise 3, run 1. Okay, now I got my points on there. But what's the most important part? Right here, where those 2 lines cross. And the 2 lines cross at the solution to the system of equations. Here we go. That is the solution to the system of equations. And what is that point? Well, it's 0, 2. That's my solution. You always have to make it nice and obvious that you know what the solution is. Circle it, highlight where you're writing your answer down. Now, if you look at this, you'd be like, Bono is brilliant. She just got all of this right, except I didn't. This is a 3-point problem. 1 point for graphing each line, and 1 point for knowing the solution. The problem is, I know the solution, but I didn't graph it correctly, did I? No, I didn't write the rules, I didn't write the equations on the graphs. So I would get a point off for that. Y equals negative 2x plus 2, that's the dark line, and the red line is y equals 3x plus 2. You gotta label your lines. It's important. All right, that's the first one. Let's take a look at the next one. Now the next one, that's almost the easiest line to graph. Why, Bono? Because I'm gonna write above it, y equals mx plus b. Right, I got it highlighted, so I know that's the y-intercept. M is 2. M equals 2, and that's going to be 2 over 1. So I'm going to rise 2 and run 1, and b at the back, the beginning, is 3. So I'm going to start at 3 down here on my graph, and I'm going to rise 2, run 1. Oh, look at that. Do I need more points? Yeah, probably. So I'm going to reverse this. I'm going to drop 2 and go left 1. The opposite of rise is drop. The opposite of run is left. So drop 2, left 1. Drop 2, left 1. I think it's easier for me to put all my points on my graph before I connect the dots and make a line. You saw how I messed that up in the last one. Bad, Bono. So now connect all those dots all the way across the grid and graph your line. And now the hard part. Let's look at this. This is in the wrong order, isn't it? Boop, boop, boop. Don't like that. So I'm going to switch it and rewrite it as y equals 1/2 x. Oh, but I don't have a b. What's my b? The b is missing, Bono. That's terrible. So I'm going to make a b here of 0. Can I do that? Can I add my own 0? Sure you can. You can add your own 0. Adding 0 doesn't change a number. It's like multiplying by 1. It doesn't change anything. So now I know my slope, m, is 1/2. So I'm going to rise 1 and run 2. And my b at the back is 0. So I'm going to begin at the origin, 0, right here. Here's my 0. From here, I rise 1, I run 2. Rise 1, run 2. Rise 1, run 2. Or I could go in the opposite direction. Drop 1, go left 2. Ah, there's my solution. Drop 1, go left 2. Now I have a nice line all the way across here. La 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 la. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? I like that line. Nice red line. Connect those dots, put an arrow on there. What's missing? Oh, I know, silly Bono. I didn't write my equations on here. I have to write the original equation. Don't forget that. 1/2 x equals y, and y equals 2x plus 3. So I need this one too. Y equals 2x plus 3. So now I'm all done. No, I'm not. I forgot to write down the coordinates of my solution. So I have to highlight some spot over here so I have space to write my solution. What's the solution? -2, -1. -2, -1. Not too bad. One more problem. Oh, good. This problem is already, oh, you know what? I'm even going to write the word solution here because I want to make sure that the old person grading it, who grades 150 papers, can see my answer. All right, on here, y equals mx plus b. My m is 2 over 1, so I'm going to rise 2, run 1. And where do I begin? I begin at the back at the b. b equals, don't forget that that's -5. So I'm going to begin at -5 and rise 2 and run 1. Down here at -5, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, all the way across my grid. Then I play connect the dots. Ta-da! Connecting the dots all the way across the grid. The reason you have to go across the whole grid is you don't know where the other line is going to go. If you knew where you don't know the other line, where is it going to go? I don't know. It could go anywhere. So it has to be all the way across the grid to make sure that your lines cross and you have a solution to your system. All right, let's take a look at this one. M equals -1/3. I know what that means. I'm going to rise 1, but I'm going to go left 3 because the negative tells me to go left. Begin at the back at the 2. B equals 2. So here I start at 2, and I'm going to go rise 1, left 3. Rise 1, left 3. Ooh, or I could go in reverse. Look, if I follow the order, 2, 2, 2, 2, I see my answers right there. Drop 1, right 3. Drop 1, right 3. And all the way across the grid with the red line. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Nice red line, arrows on both sides of that line. Write the equations on the lines. Don't forget things, Bono. Here we go. Y equals -1/3 x plus 2, and y equals 2x minus 5. And I'm going to highlight myself some spot over here because here's my solution right here where they cross. And they cross at 3, 1. 3 to the right, up 1. And that's my solution. If you're having difficulty with this, it's okay. In the beginning, graphing and getting your lines correct can be a little difficult. So take a breath, rewatch the video, check your work, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.